I guess it's cozy. While I purposely mentioned the lack of mouse over macros to rage bait your comments for more community engagement, I came up with a fantastic idea for the day I just lose my mind with the mouse over comments. Oh, you like that? Look at me clicking that holy light. Naughty holy light.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
In the last episode, we learned that having an average party-wide IQ that is lower than the key level itself doesn't help, even in the season that is considered the easiest. And that's coming from the dude that has both lay on hands and combat rest missing from his bars. While in this episode, we learn even more useful stuff, like how to demand a bloodlust in a lower key even though there is no bloodlust class around, or how important it is to show your support by liking the video or even subscribing for completely free to support a young and upcoming sensation that totally doesn't upload videos as a result of a midlife crisis. So please man, please, I don't know what else to do. Furthermore, we will talk about the elephant in the room, which, even though that was your mother's nickname in high school, it's not about her. Xal'atoes Bargain, Devour, aka the healer affix, aka the most disgusting American-made thing ever since Dragon Ball Evolution. Because the game doesn't explain how it works, but the self-proclaimed chosen overlord of Muppets will. Because boy howdy is this affix easier to deal with than you might expect. So buckle up, put this puppy on the second screen and let's dive right into episode 2 of Diarrhea of a Vampire Looking Holy Paladin. And again, like the video or I start spreading rumors.
I heard you have a tiny wiener.
Alright, so because of our duties as the granddaddy of Mythic Plus mechanics, self-proclaimed, let's start with a +5 Magisters to ease the pain for upcoming affix managements. With the War Within, Blizzard removed all kind of rotating affixes that ever existed due to their imbalance in power and because a certain combination wasn't playable on higher keys at all. And they also said that they didn't want you, the player, to play the affix but much rather play the game, which is fair. Now, this seasonal affix is now in its 4th season in a row, and ever since its creation, a lot of stuff has happened. In season 1 of the War Within, the Devour affix was arguably the worst thing known to man. I kid you not, it was disgusting and nobody liked it. It was so horrendously bad. But let's start with how it works and then I will tell you what changed. Ever so often, Xal'atoes will try to devour Deez Nuts and debuffs all party members with a spell which is not labeled as a heal absorb and that looks undispellable. When this debuff runs out, each enemy that is currently in fight with us receives a 10% damage boost as well as a 20% of reduced damage taken. And yes, it stacks. For everyone we get rid of before the timer runs out, we end up with a nice little stat enhance of 4% crit and 2% HP. And yes, they do in fact also stack. So needless to say, we do not want them to run out as a healer, and this is our priority. Even though you can't get rid of all of them due to utility, you try to heal through them as much as you can. Very important. The higher the key, the more disgusting this will get. Or you be a toxic piece of shit. In that case, inspect your party members before the run, and anyone who doesn't have any form of dispel talented will be a reason for you to just leave before it starts. Abuse your power.
I'm an adult virgin.
Now back in the day, this heal absorb was massive, because overheal did not account into healing through the shield. However, there was a mechanic that still works to this day. Dispelling. Matter of fact, every form of dispel or cleanse works. Curse removal, poison, disease, you name it. Meaning it's in fact not a healer's duty at all, as the DPS pressing one button is a lot more efficient than the healer having to muscle through them. As of today, or this week rather, Blizzard did something to make the removal of these debuffs even easier. This spell is also considered a movement impair. This is incredibly huge considering how many spells in this game exist that would cleanse that. We're talking about Disengage by Hunters, Tiger's Lust by Monks, Freedom by Paladin, and so on. It even goes as far as to be cleansed by personal buttons like Warrior's Berserker Rage, which means they can completely dispel this thing on themselves at all time, which was never a thing for Warrior at all. They always relied on somebody else. Or maybe you're a priest with Fate. The only one who's screwed is Rogue, because they have two 2-minute cooldowns that can deal with that, but it's a 2-minute cooldown. Now, why do I tell you all of this? Well, this is how I do it. First of all, I ignore the tank. Usually you just heal through them anyways. But then I put freedom on any other party member that isn't myself, because due to Unbound Freedom, we also receive a copy of that freedom. Meaning I can freely use this spell on a third party member to already be done with 3 out of 5 within 2 globals. Nice. After that, I can freestyle a little bit, depending on how bored I am. Generally speaking, the dispel cooldown is shorter than the debuff duration, so you can easily dispel 2 people before it runs out, which means 2 people freedom, 2 people dispel, the other one is a tank. Easy. For me this is perfect. I hated that in the past you were reliant on other people to play this mechanic with you in order to not constantly buff the enemies, because when there was no damage incoming you couldn't heal it. Now, due to the changes and due to Pella magic, I can solo this entire thing. Quick reminder, if you're new to the game or if you returned after a while, you can read all you need to know about the affix in-game now by using the dungeon journal. That has been also a new addition this season, so if you're in need of some information, grab them as long as they're hot. I would recommend that, since I have a strong suspicion you will see this affix at least till the end of midnight. Now, with finishing this first affix infested key in our journey, there were 2 special things happening. First, it was my 4th key done, which meant I finished up on the Emissary of War quest for the free hero item from the current raids. That's pretty huge, right? Well, there's more. You see, our hunter looted the ring, which is a mega upgrade for me, but our red paladin wanted it first. So in good old Western fashion, I suggested a fair and square 1 versus 1 by dice rolling. Yet this dude completely ignored me and just wanted to trade the hunter ASAP. I asked multiple times about rolling it out. I even sent an 89, which gives me a good chance, and he kept ignoring me. I was super lucky that the hunter was Alliance while both the red and me were Horde, meaning he couldn't just randomly trade him in the city, and he had to convince him to join a dungeon instead. This went on for so long that the hunter got confused, asked again, and after he realized that 2 of us won it, he asked to roll for it. And thus, the red very kindly f***ed off.
Have a great time.
As for my weekly quest, I wanted all the smoke, any caster trinket known to man, maybe a shield. Instead I got, you know what, I'm not complaining. Big upgrade and an easy target for an upcoming T-set conversion. I take it. Continuing the grind, we make our way to Dragonflight's study hotspot in Algata Academy. Known for its big ass pulls, grade A amateur corn roleplay.
We are just about... Wait! Ichistras, what are you doing? What is that thing?
Naughty, naughty.
And the mob type that kinda looks like a bully in primary school. Big ass mouth to talk a lot of shit and no arms. And yet, my worry wasn't the reworked bird fight or the final boss. Yet. For now, my worry was with this dude. But since I can't spell whatever that language is, I'm gonna call him Steve. See, Steve has the unfortunate burden of hailing from a server that is known for 2 things. Either god tier gamers that play the game one-handed while finger blasting your mother on the other side, or people that clearly play on a controller while using 2 feet. It's either curse or blessing, nothing in between. Luckily Steve knew his shit, and even though I started using my beacons on ranged players instead of tanks due to the easier access on our mastery scaling, which helps me a lot during runs, I gave one to him because I've mainly healed DKs since starting, and let me just say, they get dicked down a lot. Now, I will talk about AA another time, but let me just say, the final boss is so much more stressful than it was back in Dragonflight. Everything is a lot faster with way more room to fail, which then just snowballs out of control if people just do dumb shit. Now, sure, Steve could have helped the party by simply moving the boss to an area that wasn't crowded with balls, and yet, I was considering trying to look for my taunt spell to drag the boss towards the entrance. Instead, I chose to muscle through it, even though this was occasionally way too close for comfort. However, I was ready for more in my own little goal to at least have each key to my name before I climbed the bigger ones. And this Skyreach is going to be different on so many levels. Firstly, we do this on 6. This doesn't necessarily mean anything for us difficulty wise, but it will mean that the loot we gain will be worth our time, as 6s start to drop the highest farmable loot table you can snatch from Mythic Plus. And our tank? Absolutely new business. Big pull and bloodlust. Everything you need to know. So check this one out. Yeah, it turns out, if you don't have a class for Bloodlust, you don't have Bloodlust. This Demon Hunter also watched way too many videos, man. Claiming GG after wiping in the 6 and then already molding in a pathetic cry for help, even his ancestors would be embarrassed over. This is one of these Illidan XX triple kill fanboys who in fact didn't sacrifice anything. In hindsight, this key had it all. Wonky pulls, funny calls, crash out, dyslexic healers, as I'm pretty sure that's not how you spell it, and grade A mechanical knowledge. Boy howdy, was this an experience so far. This DH kept me entertained though. Everything that happened to him seemed to be the craziest stuff ever, and it came out of nowhere. Bless his heart. On the final boss, I was on the verge on telling them to focus the bird in order to keep the party alive. But then I thought, I'm just gonna spectate. Until I was the first one to get yoinked, and then I was spam pimming the shit out of that thing. Now, before I show you the footage of this newly attempted seed key, after I still got some cramps in my left nut from the last episode, I need to make one thing perfectly clear here. I've seen every comment on the last episode. Every comment. I liked every comment and I responded to everything. And you told me about you being able to free them the chains off of people, and that tip will help me in a great way in the future. With that being said, this was recorded before the video was released. So there's a tiny chance you will not witness that mechanical awakening from your boy. I appreciate it though, and keep all the little know-hows coming. When we are talking about seed, some things are different compared to the last run. The key level, the party setup, sure, though at least one thing stayed the same. Our tank being somewhat clueless. On this specific tank, it was the use of Death Strike that was kinda short. You see, this gentleman had me stressed out like no one ever before, dipping to 70% and then 50 and then 20 while being on maxed out rune power the entire time. I was shining so bright due to my holy light spam and having wings on cooldown that they could have just hired me for a lamp promoting IKEA ad any day now. I mean, look at him, dropping to 20% while still stay cool and collected on the 20k HPS. Even getting out-healed by the red paladin, and that's the point you know what's up. Now, not to shit on him any further, he didn't do a bad job with routing or stacking up pulls at all, that was fine, nothing to complain there. The only thing he was lacking was the survivability, and maybe I just sit here and claim that he felt so comfy with my hairy, weak arms that he just enjoyed playing the game instead of, well, not dying. So maybe I was the reason he didn't felt the need to survive on his own. Hashtag copium. And with that, it was finally time for another damn key with a blood decay. Where are these shitters coming from, man? I could play with a warrior who just pulls stuff, doesn't get any damage, and I could swing my shield for glory, but no, has to be the f***ing Hellscream the Death Knight that probably has the same daddy issues as the last one with that name, and that's why he kept pulling like an absolute tosser and—
You need to relax.
Oof. I don't know where that came from, but my apologies. How about we open the vault instead to freshen up for a new adventure, huh? Big stack, 6 guaranteed hero items, nothing can go wrong.